Yo, welcome to my quick in-depth Miyabi guide. Appreciate you watching the video. Let's get straight into it. What stats should you be looking for on a Miyabi? I'm going to go into some more extra stats later, but just for a base, what you should be looking for on Miyabi, you want to be going for 70 to 90 crit rate. Yes, you want very high crit rate on her. For her core, we'll talk about that. You definitely want to try to aim for 3K-ish attack if possible, and for crit damage it kind of varies depending on what your build is, you know, maybe 120-ish, you know, something like that. Skills, you want to max out her skill, you want to max out her ult, you want to max out her basic attack. Dodge and assist don't really matter, but you know, if you love Miyabi like me, you know, you can just max that junk out, you know what I'm saying? Core, big core, and like every character is good. I don't think there's a single character in the game that doesn't need their core. You need to level up her core. Big surprise, her core is a massive part of her kit. Next thing here, talking about stats on what you should be building on a Miyabi, weapon, wenjins, all that type of stuff. If you don't have her signature weapon, you can use something like a Grace's Wenjin. You can use a crit stat stick from an attacker class, like Nekomata's signature weapon, like the Fusion Compiler. If you don't have Fusion Compiler, you could run something like a Weeping Gemini. Bam, bam, locked, okay? Now, substats or main stats, what you should be running on your disc here. Crit damage, crit rate, depending on your build for a slot 4 here. Then slot 5, most of the time you want to be running pen ratio. You can also run attack, like I have a really good attack piece, as you can see right here. Been pretty good, you know, but you definitely, the ultimatum build would be going for pen ratio right here. Pen ratio is better, it's the best of all of them. Ice damage, you don't really want to go. Miyabi gives herself a ton of ice, and you're usually playing her in a team with damage bonus providers, so that's another thing. Also, just attack percent overall in Zenless scales really high. It's like almost the same value as crit damage most of the times, so that's just something to keep in mind. And then a slot 6, you can go Anomaly Mastery if you know what you're doing. Most people don't know what you're doing, though. You know, no disrespect to you. You might be Zenless God Gamer, but I feel like you wouldn't be watching this video. You know what I'm saying? You can go Anomaly Mastery in teams like Mono Ice, you know, Lycon, Sakaku. And then there's going to be Yuzuha coming out. So then you would have Lycon Yuzuha or Sakaku Yuzuha. Both of those are good teams that you could play, by the way. And sometimes you can run Anomaly Mastery in those teams. But if you don't want to have to think or anything about min-maxing and that type of stuff, you can't go wrong with attack percent. It's not even like attack percent is like bad. You can't go wrong with attack percent. Just Anomaly Mastery, sometimes, you know, min-maxing to get those disorders, get those freeze up times, all that type of stuff there. Now, substats, what you'd be looking for on your pieces: crit rate, crit damage, attack percent. It's pretty simple. Just a quick little overview of Mindscapes on Miyabi if you plan on investing on her. Best stopping points, probably C2 if you're going Mega Whales. I mean, C6 obviously is like going to be good, as you know, as any character. But yeah, her C1, it gives you extra defense shred, and it makes it so that when you hit them with your full enhanced basic attack, that it will immediately remove Frostburn, and it gives you free anomaly buildup, which is pretty insane, I'm not gonna lie. And then her C2 makes it so that you get increased the dodge counter and basic attack damage, and then you also get an extra stack of Fallen Frost every time you do a full basic attack combo. She's a 5-hit basic attack combo. Every time you do your 5-hit, you're going to just get a free stack, which is insane. Also, you start the fight with guaranteed 6 stacks of Fallen Frost. You can instantly start the fight with you know what I'm saying? You can start it with you know, the full Judgment Cut, and you also get free 15 crit rate. Pretty insane C2, not gonna lie. But like, at the end of the day, Miyabi C0 no sig clears everything in the game. If you want to get her sig, I highly recommend it. I think her sig is insane for her, you know. It's like a pretty big increase, but obviously you don't need it. I have played Miyabi without sig, pretty fine. You can also play Miyabi with her sig, pretty fine. Now, let's do a small little kit overview, and let's get right into it. All right, so Miyabi is a Frost character. Frost is ice, but ice is not Frost. However, when you apply Anomaly on an enemy, as you can see, you are going to build up Frost on them. Now, what is Frost? It's a Miyabi's, you know, unique element, similar to Yijuan. Yijuan also has one with her Rupture Ink, but we're not talking about Yijuan, so that is not important. That's just a baseline of what we're about to go into today. So, Miyabi's biggest thing is these orbs here. You need to get 6 of them to do her enhanced basic attack. Actually, she does an enhanced basic attack, does that judgment cut, you know, cool Virgil strike, you know, shing, 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 you know, everywhere, all that type of stuff. Anyways, Miyabi, 5-hit basic attack combo. Bam! On her 5th one, when she does that big spin around here, she's invincible. For 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Hoshimi Miyabi is absolutely invulnerable to all damage. Then we have her skill. Her skill's also going to give you 2 balls. I procced a frost right there, which gave me another stack. We're going to talk about that soon here. So yeah, like I said though, skill is going to give you 2 basic attack. Once you fill up this anomaly bar up to full and you actually proc a frostburn, that is also going to give you 1. We'll go ahead and do that again real quick just to show that off here. As you can see, bam, so you filled it up like that. Frostburn procs, you get a extra proc. And then she has one other way of doing it, which is when you proc a disorder. So let's go ahead and pop this real quick so we can reset the bar. So we're going to go ahead and fill up this bar again, and we're going to go over to Sakaku here, and Sakaku is going to go ahead and fill up that bar and pop a disorder. And as you see, I go back into Miyabi. What does Miyabi have? She has her stacks back, and you can see them when she is off field. If you didn't peep that, I'll replay it real quick just so you can see of her stacks filling up off field right there.
Fine. I'm unstoppable.
And as you can see, and the last way of getting stacks on Miyabi here is when you ulti, go for another judgment cut, shing, 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 shing. You're actually going to get 3 from her ulti, 399. So that is 1 stack from filling up a frostburn. That is 2 from doing her skill. That's 2 from proccing a disorder. And that is 3 from casting her ultimate. Don't get it twisted. This is pretty much your bread and butter on Miyabi. Once you know this, you pretty much know about like 80% of the character, to be honest. All right, so now we know how to do basics with Miyabi. We know how to build Miyabi. Now, how can you do some cool stuff on Miyabi? Now, Miyabi is able to switch out of like literally every skill she can do pretty much. You go for your N5 combo here. You're like, bam, I want to swap out. You know, go to Sakaku. All right? You're like, I'm doing my skill. Go to Sakaku. I'm doing my ultimate. You can't really go to Sakaku. You're kind of locked into the animation. But judgment cut, go into Sakaku. Sakaku time freezes because her ult is ulting while Miyabi is doing hers. Big wombo combo. Oh my god, insane. Now make sure we just got all those, okay? That was the N5, okay? Kara cancel, quick swap back, you know? Okay, we have the EX skill, or the second one, swap back, okay? Then we have full judgment cut, swap back, and we can even go to the ultimate on another character while Miyabi is doing hers, because Miyabi is doing damage while that character is doing damage. And then you could even have a disorder in there. You could time your disorder so that after you do your orb, you come back in and then you instantly do your judgment cut again. That's a lot of combos. That's a lot of combos. Make sure you got that. Make sure you got that. Make sure you got that. Also, other things you can do with Miyabi. Now, if you're trying to become a god gamer, you're trying to level up your maximum potential, maximizing the things you can control and minimizing the things you can't. You're going to want to go over to the settings. You're going to want to go over to other. And you want to go to chain attack, and you want to put that bad boy in manual. We're moving full manual, no automatic. We move in manual. And what are we going to do here? We're going to go for a stun on the enemy. All right, so you have the enemy about to go into stun. Now, watch what you can do this though. Watch you can do this. Enemy is about to go into stun. You go rainbow. You can swap to another character while having the stun multiplier. Proc the stun with them. Go back to Miyabi. Ultimate. Purging slash, and then swap back to your other character, and then swap back to Miyabi and get a second one up. I mistimed it, but on an actual enemy, your stun window wouldn't be this little. I think it's because it's in the training room. Then you could do a second enhanced basic attack. That is a 2 EBA stun window. Now, to do the triple EBA stun window, you need to have mono ice with light cone and all that. I highly recommend checking out someone like Yugi or any of the, you know, mono ice Miyabi guys, a lot of people out there that have made one on those, but this is not a video on that because you can start talking about that junk for like 20-30 minutes on that. But, you know, a guy like me, I'm just trying to get you in on the basics and a little bit of the advanced. You know, I'm trying to tip your foot into the deep end of the water. Now, let's do a little bit of a showcase, and we're gonna head out. Hold up, quick insert. Almost forgot to talk about the Miyabi teams, but this is pretty simple here. We have best Miyabi teams. Best Miyabi teams after Yuzuha release is going to be still Mono Ice, the GOAT, Miyabi, Lycon, and Sukaku. But then there's going to be Yuzuha, Sukaku, and Miyabi. And you can also have Miyabi, Lycon, and Yuzuha. And you can also have Miyabi, Yanagi, and Yuzuha. And there's Bernice, but Yanagi and Sukaku and Lycon are better, so I don't want to put them in best, but you know, just to name them. Then we have good teams, which is Astra with an Anama unit, Vivian, Yanagi, Bernice, and then there's Yuzuha with an Anama unit, Vivian, Yanagi, Bernice. Then there's the Piper Lucy free-to-play comp, and then there's Lighter Lucy or like Lighter Bernice or like Lucy Bernice. Those are like very off teams though, and you're probably using those characters for your fire characters, realistically. Now we go on to the showcase. Alright, well, this is my updated Miyabi guide. I hope you enjoyed. Miyabi is still one of the best DPS in the game. Pretty much the best DPS in the game. She deletes everything in the game. You don't even, you know, see zero. You get her signature. You're like absolutely nuking everything. Yeah, I hope you learned something from this video. Comment down below, you know, thoughts, questions, answers, responses, all that type of stuff. And yeah, I just hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Hope you got a little bit of value out of this video. And have a good day, have a good night, have a good afternoon, have a good morning, have a good, yeah, have a good. And yuzuha is coming. Good luck on your yuzuha pools. I will be streaming twitch.tv/gib, and I will be pulling for her and playing her with all the anomaly characters that I have, you know. So yeah, but without further ado, sheesh, we're getting a bell skin, and this bell skin's already fire. It's already fire. I don't even know how did the ZZZ devs just never miss? They just don't miss. Anyways, see